Joe Rogan just horribly attacked Jake Paul after he canceled his fight with Mike Tyson. I know you probably heard the fight got postponed, right? And now Jake's fighting Mike Perry instead. But here's the real tea. Insiders say Jake already told the authorities he's done with Tyson because he's tired of waiting for Tyson to get better and thinks his hype is fading. Like, seriously, Jake? You're ditching a fight with a legend because the guy got sick? So, you know Joe Rogan is never one to hold back on his opinions, especially when it comes to Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. Rogan, with his deep love for combat sports, issued a no-nonsense warning to Jake. He told him straight up not to underestimate Mike Tyson, reminding everyone that Tyson's power and experience are no joke. Rogan wasn't just giving friendly advice. He was genuinely worried about what could happen if Jake didn't take Tyson seriously. But there was also a time when he said,
"The best boxer on the planet is
Jake Paul."
Why? If Mike Tyson says, "Let's do this," are you down?
100%.
But of course, Jake Paul being Jake Paul didn't take Rogan's advice too well. In true Jake fashion, he mocked Rogan, calling him out of touch and branding both Rogan and Tyson as old and washed up.
Yeah, the news is true, folks. I, Jake Paul, will be fighting Mike Perry, Tampa, Florida, July 20th.
Rogan's predictions about Tyson's age and health concerns turned out to be spot on. It was like he saw the future while Jake was too busy with his bravado. The moment this news broke, headlines were screaming about this massive legal showdown. For Jake, this wasn't just about a canceled fight anymore. It was about a legal nightmare that could wreck his finances and career. This whole mess might have been avoided if Jake had just stuck to his original plan instead of switching things up and hyping his new opponent after all that whining.
Super dangerous. I think he's one of the most violent people on earth. He's undefeated in bare knuckle, which is arguably the craziest sport in the world. So I have a lot of respect for Mike Perry, and I know he's a killer. He's a knockout artist. He's tough.
By slapping Jake with a $350 million lawsuit, Tyson was saying loud and clear, this is about more than money. It's about respect and accountability. The lawsuit was a stark reminder of the risks in the high-stakes world of pro boxing and entertainment. And please don't melt after watch him crying.
Like, they're suing me for something I didn't do. Like, on God, it's just the most bullshit thing. And I literally had to pay them a lot of fucking money for no reason. And I'm like...
But Tyson's legal move wasn't just about cash. It was a statement to the entire boxing community. Actions have consequences. Tyson, a legend, was setting a precedent. He was making it clear that the sport deserved respect and that those who treated it otherwise would face severe repercussions. For Tyson, this lawsuit was about preserving boxing's integrity as much as it was about getting back lost money. By holding Jake accountable, Tyson was standing up for the sport. The career implications for Jake were just as severe. The lawsuit cast a long shadow over his boxing career. Promoters and potential opponents would think twice before getting involved with someone wrapped up in such a high-profile legal battle. This lawsuit threatened to derail Jake's plans for future fights, sponsorships, and endorsements. In professional sports, reputation is everything, and a $350 million lawsuit is a stain that's hard to clean off. For Jake, this wasn't just a financial crisis, it was a potential career-ending catastrophe. The public's perception of Jake took a hit too. Fans and critics watched closely as the legal battle unfolded. Jake, who built his career on bravado and controversy, now faced the harsh reality of his actions. The lawsuit stripped away his invisibility cloak, exposing him to criticism and skepticism. The backlash was swift, with many fans expressing disappointment over Jake's role in this mess. The court of public opinion wasn't in his favor, and the lawsuit only added fuel to the fire, and Jake told everyone how his mom supported him. Well, it's all crocodile tears, please ignore him.
It's just like so annoying. It's like, why am I giving, like, not only did I spend like my time, my effort, my energy, my mom.
Tyson's lawsuit also shone a light on broader issues within boxing. It served as a cautionary tale for other fighters and promoters. A reminder that the stakes in professional boxing go beyond the ring. The lawsuit underscored the importance of professionalism, accountability, and respect for the sport's traditions. It was a wake-up call for the industry, forcing everyone to take a hard look at how business was conducted. For Jake, the road ahead was uncertain. The $350 million lawsuit loomed large, a constant reminder of the gravity of his actions. Every move he made, both in and out of the ring, would be scrutinized. The lawsuit was a cloud over his head, affecting every aspect of his career. For Tyson, it was a victory of sorts, a chance to reclaim some control and respect in a sport that had given him so much. The legal battle was far from over, but the message was clear. Accountability in boxing isn't optional, and those who forget that will pay a hefty price. And on his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, he let loose on Jake, expressing his disbelief and anger at the withdrawal. There's not a crow chance in hell that Jake Paul would survive against Mike Tyson.
Like, there's not a fucking chance in hell that Jake Paul would survive against the Mike Tyson that beat Marvis Frazier.
Rogan declared, his voice dripping with a mix of anger and disappointment. This statement alone sent shockwaves through the fan base, but Joe wasn't done yet. Rogan's frustration was rooted in his deep respect for Tyson's legacy in the sport of boxing. He emphasized that Tyson, even at 58, still had the skills and power that Jake Paul, with all his confidence, was nowhere near ready to face. Paul's casual attitude was both shocking and infuriating to Rogan. Joe went on to dissect Paul's decision with the kind of detail that only a true boxing aficionado could provide. He pointed out that Tyson's power and experience were not to be underestimated. Rogan noted that Tyson's recent public appearances and training videos showed he was still a formidable force. You could see it in the way he moves, the way he punches. That man is still dangerous, Rogan emphasized. Rogan didn't stop at critiquing Paul's decision. He also addressed the broader implications of the fight's cancellation. He talked about how this incident could affect the credibility of boxing matches involving high-profile celebrities.
When he's in the zone, I changed the shape of the table because of him. This table was, we had the table that was this size at the old studio.
Rogan argued. He believed Paul's actions could discourage other serious fighters from engaging in these bouts, fearing they too might be disrespected or left hanging. Jake Paul tried to pull a fast one by bribing the referee for the Tyson fight. No, you are not dreaming. Jake approached the ref, offered a hefty bribe to ensure the calls went his way. Luckily, the referee, whose name is kept under wraps for legal reasons, didn't take the bait. The integrity of the fight was saved, but the fact that Jake even tried, that's a whole new level of shady. And people are saying,
but some shit like, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, you see it online, you probably don't know. My brother thought the fights were rigged.
Yeah.
My older brother thought for sure they were rigged. And I had to break it
So
down.
people thought my bucket pool was rigged online.
Joe wasted no time blowing the lid off this scandal on his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience. He was livid. This goes beyond just backing out of a fight, Rogan fumed. Jake Paul tried to corrupt the very foundation of boxing. It's disgraceful and shows a complete lack of respect for the sport. You could feel Joe's anger through the screen, and his fans were right there with him. According to the sources, Jake's bribe offer was seriously tempting, enough money to make anyone think twice. But the referee stood firm, refusing to let money compromise the fairness of the match. Despite the ref's integrity, Jake's attempt alone has serious repercussions. Bribing a referee is a massive no-no in boxing, carrying potential fines, suspensions, or even a permanent ban from the sport. Rogan's revelation sparked outrage across the boxing community. Big names in the sport were quick to slam Jake's actions. "This is unacceptable," one prominent boxing promoter declared. "We cannot allow the integrity of our sport to be compromised by such unethical behavior. Jake Paul must face the consequences." The message was loud and clear. Jake had crossed a line, and no one was letting it slide. For Jake Paul, this scandal could be a career ender. Jake's income and career trajectory are hanging by a thread. Joe Rogan kept hammering home the seriousness of the situation on his podcast. "This isn't just about Jake Paul," Rogan said. "This is about the integrity of boxing. We can't let one person's greed and arrogance undermine the hard work and dedication of countless fighters who respect the sport." Joe's passionate defense of boxing struck a chord with many, isolating Jake further within the community. Throughout this whole ordeal, Joe Rogan remained a vocal critic, using his platform to push for accountability and transparency. "We need to send a clear message," Rogan stated. Boxing is a sport of honor, and anyone who tries to corrupt it must face the full consequences of their actions. Joe's unwavering stance garnered widespread support, amplifying the call for justice and integrity in boxing.